Regina's Imperial Oil Refinery was built in a hurry more than 100 years ago in the midst of World War I. It operated in northeast Regina, just southwest of the Ring Road, for about 60 years until it was decommissioned in 1975. Clint Kimmery says when he bought this property back in 1988, he did not know its history.
Well, at that time, we didn't know that this particular area was even part of the Imperial Oil Refinery. Or had been part of the Imperial Oil Refinery.
He says he started learning more in the early 2000s in the midst of a property tax battle with the city. Documents obtained through access to information show contamination had been detected on some of the site. A 1986 study detected petroleum hydrocarbons in the soil in every test hole to a depth of 7 to 10 meters. But Kimmery was surprised to learn that 45 years after the refinery was shut down, the entire site has still not been studied.
In most cases, when a refinery is shut down, one of the very first things you do is test the ground to know whether or not what you can do in the terms of redevelopment. Well, that was never done here.
The Ministry of Environment acknowledges there are still some significant unknowns about what type of contamination is on the site, how far it's spread, and what the consequences might be for human health and the environment.
We believe there are some gaps because we haven't been provided information to show that everything has been delineated yet.
The ministry says here's what has not yet been assessed: west of the site, north of the site, east of the site, and the southern portion of the site. The ministry says assessment is hard, time-consuming work.
With a site this complex, you can't do it all like in just one site assessment. Our seasons are limited to the amount of work that can be done, and you need to focus on the areas of information where you know where to keep progressing.
But critics point out it's been 45 years, which seems like plenty of time to complete the assessment.
I mean, it sounds very much like the whole file was just completely dropped at some point, that there was, again, no follow-through, no willingness to enforce their own rules.
Kimmery says he's concerned about possible effects on human health and safety and the environment, but he's also concerned about the effect on his property value. An appraiser told him it's not possible to assess his property's value until a full environmental assessment is done. Kimmery hopes that publicity may force the government to act. The ministry told CBC it will be asking Imperial and the city about their plans for future assessment. Jeff Leo, CBC News, Regina.